Doing it.
We're good?
We're good. We're on. Game on.
My name is Blake. I'm the brewer at Coops Ale Works.
Yes.
And we're about to show you a 2-minute tour of how to make beer.
Nice. Nice.
We start with grain. Grain is the essential, or one of the essential ingredients of beer. There are 4 essentials. And so in there right now is about 450 pounds of grain.
Wow.
That will end up making 217 gallons of beer.
Wow.
The more grain that was in that bin, the higher the alcohol beer would be.
Okay.
So grain and alcohol are sort of direct equivalent. We don't want the barley in its full form. We want to crush it so we can get what's inside of it. So this is our mill that will mill about that 450 pounds of grain in about 17 minutes.
Wow.
And then once it'll drop out the bottom and it'll follow this piece of flex auger that has like basically a drill inside of it that will hoist the grain from here over to the brew floor.
I gotcha.
Right.
Very cool.
So
this is great, dude.
we follow the pipe and it will drop down into our first brewing vessel on the right there, which is our mash tun. In there we'll make a mixture basically of grain and water that's basically a barley oatmeal. And that process of mixing the water and grain will turn the starch inside the barley to sugar. And we want to make sugar because we want to feed it to yeast, because when we feed sugar to yeast it makes alcohol. So this is the leftover grain that was in the mash today. So you can see it's saturated with water. It's crushed up. It's not in full form. But if you were to taste it, it doesn't have very much sweetness to it, because what we've done is the special part about the mash tun is that it has the screen in the bottom. And what it does is allows us to filter out all the sugary liquid and leave all the stuff of the grain behind.
Gotcha.
So once we have that sugary liquid, we transfer it over to our boil kettle, and where we boil it for 60 to 90 minutes. And that is where you add hops, any other spices or ingredients you might add. Goes all in the boil kettle. And once it's done there, which this is the process we're doing now, we're running it through that little underwhelming device with the blue tag on it. And it's basically, when it goes in, it's going in at about 200 degrees at this pipe. And when it comes out, it's about 80 degrees.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference.
And yeast are a living organism like you and I, and they don't like temperatures much above 100 degrees. So what we want to do in order to feed it to the yeast, like I was talking about earlier, we have to cool it down as fast as possible. So what we're doing is cooling, and it's running to our fermenter there. And what happens after this process is over is my favorite part of brewing. Whenever yeast eats sugar, they have 2 main byproducts. CO2, which you see escaping the tank here, and alcohol, which we all like. And so there's no other way to form alcohol other than to feed sugar to yeast.
Dude, this is beyond cool. So this is the whole...
Then once it's in here, like this one's been, this one has been fermenting for, I made it on October 21st, so about 9 days. And then I came in last night and they're all jacketed with glycol, and I turned it down. So you can feel it's about 35 degrees right now. To feel this part, that's the closest to the. And when it cools down, it drops all the yeast out, so we have super clear beer. And then tomorrow I'll actually run it to another tank in our cold room, and that's where it's carbonated. And from there it either goes into the keg or the can. In this case, this will make about 1,440 cans of beer. Wow. 16-ounce cans.
Wow. Very cool. That's all you guys have. It looks like you got some pretty cool beers.
Yeah.
The Horny Toad and DNR.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
We got some cool stuff.
And she said you guys were also doing beers in the whiskey casks or the kegs.
We got a couple of beers that we threw into barrels, and I put some like wild indigenous Belgian yeast strains on, just to see, what happens. It's kind of an experiment in a barrel.
Sweet.
So,
dude, I'd love it. And hey, thanks so much for showing me all this stuff, because this is really cool shit.
One of our owners, his wife is actually an ambassador for couch surfing in Oklahoma City.
Oh yeah? Sweet. Well, maybe we've got to meet up and have a dinner. So I'm staying at a super sweet spot, this guy Jeff, and it is like, it's the most ridiculous, it's a ridiculous house, dude. So
Really?
yeah, we should have, I did a big dinner last night.
No shit.
I think, yeah, I'll talk to Jeff, see if he's down for another dinner.
It's like, remember the old place where Tyler lived?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those multi-apartments turned into one giant loft.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty sweet.
Let's sign off. It's beer time. Signing off.
Signing off, Blake from Coops Ale Works. Cheers.
Aloha.